Okay, everyone, as you start reviewing and looking over what is covered in IM3, the one thing you'll definitely realize is that you're going to do a lot of different graphs. Circles, square roots, cube roots, exponential functions, quadratics, linear equations, the sorts, circles, different kind of conic sections. But anyways, I could talk all day. Let's just get right down to business here. So, on this one here, notice it is a square root function right there, correct? Well, the one thing I want you to remember, guys, is square roots always look like this. It's always going to be an arc. If it's a negative square root, it's just going to start and go down and go across like that. So negative square roots go like that, positive square roots like that, negative square roots like that. Okay? But the one thing I wanted to cover when doing these graphs is, guys, remember, if you just make a little table, you can always find the correct graph very quickly. So that's what I recommend you do. We're going to make a little table, and we're going to look right inside the square root. Notice that 3 makes it 0. So I know to start at 3, and I'm just going to use one other point, 4. And those 2 points should be enough to get me the right graph. So, plugging in 3 right there, this is what I'm going to get. And of course, 3 minus 3 is 0, times 2 is 0. I'm just left with 0 minus 2, or negative 2. Let's do the 4 before we look at our choices. So I'm going to plug in the 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So basically, I have 2 times the square root of 1 minus 2. Well, square root of 1 is 1 times 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. So let's look at choice A. Does it have 0.3 negative 2? Let's see here. 3 negative 2 would be down there. No good. Let's look at B. 3 negative 2 would be right there. No good. Let's look at C. 3 negative 2 is right there. And if you look at D, 3 negative 2 being right there means that one's gone. So this one, it was real easy. It had to be choice C. But I just want to point out, guys, that you should always check the next point just to make sure. 4, 0. Well, notice right there. So right there is 4, 0. Right there is the 3 negative 2. That's why I would pick graph C. Okay? Pause the video if you need to. All right. Let's pick up the pace here. Now this one, you notice, guys, is a cube root. And the thing I want you to notice about cube roots is they go like a square root like that, but they then snake the other way to the left like that. So they make a S shape. You ought to memorize cube roots. Always make an S shape like that. Now, if it's a negative cube root, so these are positive cube roots, a negative cube root would simply just wiggle the other way, like so. And through experience, guys, you'll hopefully basically memorize and know what a positive or negative cube root is. And you should get good enough and practice enough where you basically memorize them. Okay, let's get to the problem again. What am I going to do, guys? That's right, I'm going to make a table. And I'm going to look right in here. Notice negative 1 makes it 0. I'm going to pick another point right next to it, 0, and complete my table. So plugging in negative 1. Well, of course, that's just 0 times 3 is 0. Let's plug in the 0. Plugging in the 0. Well, 0 plus 1 is 1. So we have 3 times the cube root of 1. The cube root of 1, guys, is 1, just like the square root or any root of 1 is 1, just like any power of 1 is 1, right? That's what's special about the number 1. So 3 times 1 is 3. So let's start with negative 1, 0. Aha, that one works. Nope, B doesn't work. Let's look at C. Now, usually you have more than 1. We're looking at negative 1, 0. Aha, this one has a negative 1, 0 as well. So my choice is between A and C. But wait a minute. Isn't this a square root, guys? That's not a cube root. A cube root would tail off the other way. So let's verify the last point, 0.03. So they try to trick us there with a square root. Again, guys, you got to know square roots go like this. Cube roots go like this. And you'll notice 3, 0 is right there. Let me just, or sorry, 0.3 is right there. So I have 0.3 right there. I have, of course, -1, 0 right there. That matches my table perfectly. So I know my choice has to be D. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, let's finish up with a couple circles. We did this in class already, guys, so hopefully all I need is to refresh you. Basically, what makes that 0 there is 4. What makes the y 0 and there is -2. We just figured out that 4, -2 is the center of my circle. And that right there, that 1, guys, please remember, that is r squared. So if r squared is 1, well, it didn't make a difference this time, but will make a difference on a lot of the other ones. Well, r is 1. I just took the square root of both sides, right? So how do we graph this? Is we're going to go to 4, -2 right there. I'll make my dots real big so you can see it easy, guys. And then with radius 1, all I usually do is go 1 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 up, 1 down. I connect those with a nice little arc. And I have a circle, guys, right there with radius 1, center 4, -2. Okay, let's try one more. This time, what happens if they give you the information? Can you find the equation of the circle? Well, remember, guys, radius 5 means, remember in the equation, notice how they're all 25s, and that is perfectly done right, because remember, if r is 5, r squared is 25, and these values must be r squareds. So the radius doesn't help us. So let's look at the center of the circle. Does everyone agree for x to be 10, it really needs to be x minus 10, because 10 minus 10 is 0, squared, of course. And notice the y is -6. Well, doesn't that mean y plus 6? Because -6 would make it 0. So this would be my equation. And if I'm looking carefully, don't let the change of signs trick you guys. And see how they switch the x and y's right here? Obviously, the answer should be C, right? And so, if you have any questions, guys, especially about circles and any of the graphs, again, we covered graphing of circles really fast. We'll have to do it again in class. We covered cube roots and we covered square roots. And I'm going to have to make a point of trying to fit this in class over the next couple months, okay? But this ends first semester IM3 final review number 9.